Hey guys, it's Muffin. I've been playing a lot of PBE, and I have been playing a lot of comps. I've been pretty successful. I dare say I'm actually pretty good. I love this set so much. I didn't want to really make any like full-on guides just because the set is kind of shifting a lot in a lot of different directions with every patch that they're making in the PBE. Obviously, they're figuring out what's balanced, what's not. Volley Bear is still a little wild and wacky. Everyone thinks he's overpowered. I think people are giving him a little bit too much credit, but I didn't feel comfortable making straight up guides just because of that fact that everything's changing so much. But I do feel pretty confident about a couple of comps that no matter what they really do to the meta, I feel like are kind of strong if you play them correctly. And so today I wanted to kind of at least just go over a little bit of these comps and give you a little bit of a rundown how they work, how I play them, and how I've been pretty successful with them so far. Just so that if you are kind of lost in PBE, at least now you have a little bit of direction and you can kind of figure out what's a way that you can go. Now I've got three for you, and they're going to kind of move and transition from more beginner-based comps, more reroll type of basic comps, up to a little bit more advanced, a little complicated. And we're going to go through all of their different board states. Now for this first comp, I want to go over Reroll Cannoneer. This is a reroll comp entirely based off of the actually trainer trait, which gives you this little Nomsy unit right here. Based off of the star level of your trainer units, they will feed one cookie to Nomsy or one treat to Nomsy every turn. For every 25 treats, they will gain like a star level basically, and they can go up to star level 4, so even stronger than normal units. It'll get up to like 175 armor and magic resistance, which is super crazy. And at 3 trainer, it will actually get double damage. So you only need 2 trainer, but it'll get stronger faster with 3 trainer, as well as it'll do double damage with 3 trainer. Though damage isn't always the entire main thing that you want from this. This is your stage 4 board. Normally you go for like a Tom Kench frontline. This is because he's a Revel bruiser, and he's a really good actual solo tank. He's pretty solid, especially later when Nomsy becomes more of a tank unit. At stage 4, not really so much so. You're going to have her in the back line, mostly so that people don't attack your Tristana. Tristanas are almost all of her damage, actually. So for Tom Kench, you're going to kind of just put tank items, and he's your really only tank early game. Really, he loves Dragon Claw and Warmogs. Those are probably the 2 best solo tank items in the game right now. There's a lot of magic resistance, as well as Dragon's Claw gives you passive healing based off of your total health amount, as well as Warmogs paired with it will then give you a bunch of healing. Just because he is a solo tank, so he'll get a bunch of stats from everyone targeting him. And then for your damage items, Cannoneer does bonus damage based off of their attack power, and Tristana does a lot of, Cannoneer damage. So I really like Deathblade because it scales based off their star level. You're going to try and get Tristana 3-star. And then Gunblade, which now is based off of Omnivamp and is not just for ability power healing. So Tristana, all the damage that she does will heal Tom Kench and will allow him to have just more effective tanking health. So the longer he's alive, the more that likely you're not about to have anyone attack your backline. And this will allow you to kind of win streak almost through your early game. Some people lose streak with Trainer, but I don't think you need to. I think you're just stronger if you win streak. And this is kind of a good way to do it. Your level 6 board is Nomsy's probably going to be 2-star or 3-star at this point. If you've been 2-starring or 3-starring your Tristana, you're probably at level 6, so you're re-rolling. So Nomsy actually can be a tank. I think she gets like 70 MR and armor, so she's actually pretty tanky. As well as your Tom Kench might be approaching 3-star, which is really good. You can 3-star Tom Kench, though he doesn't always need it. He just will become kind of weaker towards the end game if you don't 3-star your Tom Kench. As well as you actually don't need to 3-star your trainer units. It's better if you do, because even after your Nomsy hits 4-star, she just still benefits, I think, 20 health for every treat, as well as gets more ability power, so she'll get stronger. But it's also not super entirely necessary. In fact, later you might even take out Heimerdinger and just have in Lulu and Tristana. But you're going to go for your 3-star units. You can throw in Senna and Jinx. Jinx is in your forecast build. I didn't mention that, but this gives you 2 Revel. Revel gives you a 125 magic damage missile that attracts a random unit whenever your guys do damage with their ability. Jinx will probably do it like 4 or 5 times throughout a fight. Tom Kench will do it twice or 3 times, just because he's constantly tanking damage, and he casts himself a shield, so he gets mana locked. But here you get in your 3 Cannoneer with Senna, and then you're going to throw in Lulu as your 3rd trainer. And this is just going to feed your Nomsy a bunch of snacks, and it's going to get so much MR and just health, and it's going to get fat. It's so so good. Such a great front line. I love Nomsy. Though you are going to kind of want Tahm Kench to be your main tank, and then when Tahm Kench dies, everyone's going to aggro onto Nomsy, and this is going to give everyone plenty of time, especially with if you get any healing with a Gunblade on Tristana. Something that's important to note is if you get a Revel emblem, or you're just not hitting your Tristana 3s, you don't actually have to stay here. Normally, it's really easy to get an item remover, especially from the Treasure Dragon. If you're having a lot of trouble, and everyone's starting to hit level 7, level 8, maybe you let go of getting Tristana 2, you carry a second Tristana, and then whenever you kind of go to level 8, you can remove all the items from Tristana and you move them over to Corki. Because Corki can be a main carry as well. He actually does a ton of damage. The difference is just if you put it on Tristana 3 and Corki. Because if you have a Tristana 3, you can kind of dual carry with any subsequent items that you get later in the game, and you can put them on Corki. So this is your stage 8 board. I don't think you really ever go 9 with this board. You're just going to want to try and get in 4 Cannoneer and 4 Revel, and 3 Trainer this is probably the best board that you can get. Then Nomsy's getting the max amount of stacks every turn, as well as you're getting as many Revel procs as possible, and then your Cannoneer is sending out as many missiles as possible, because Cannoneer does a big AoE every 5th attack with your just attack damage. Every 5th attack, it does attack damage like explosive, so it actually can hit a whole lot of people, which is why we actually don't need, there's no real need for Runon's Hurricane on our main carries, as well as we don't super need Rageblade as well. It's useful, but it's not super necessary, because Lulu's ability gives bonus attack speed to 3 units near her, and actually can turn any enemy units that are close and get enchanted. It turns them into a docile feline, so it turns them into this little stuffed cat. It's actually kind of cute. But if you get Lulu 3-starred or 2-starred, it increases how fast your units are going to move, as well as how many units will be buffed. So that can kind of change positioning. If you have 3-star Lulu, it does 5 units, so maybe you kind of do something with Sona here, and you just make sure that all your main damage units are the ones that are closest to her. Oh, with your Senna as well. Senna, I would never go 3-star. It's a waste of time, as well as a lot of people play Rage Wing. Senna's going to be contested early game, and it's just really not worth rolling for this 1 cost, because you're not going to itemize her either. As well as at level 8, you kind of have an extra spot. I like Bard, because it gives you 2 Mystic, as well as he just does a massive AoE. Bard is such a useful unit, amazing unit, and we're not going to go level 9, so we're not going to put like a dragon in here or anything. You can actually place Tahm Kench and Bard with a dragon. Say you get a Shyvana, or say you get some other kind of tank unit like an Idis. Idis is a really good solo carry and does really well with these items too. Or you can give it AP and he heals himself. But this is my ideal board for a late stage trainer / Cannoneer comp. Again, items, you kind of are going to mix them between Tristana and Corki. If you get a Revel emblem, it goes really well on, actually Tristana is a really good user of it. If you have a spot, or you can kind of fit in anyone, really. Anyone with like a high ability, like, or a low mana cost, really, that does damage. It does have to do damage. Bard does not do damage, so it's not going to help at all. Plus, Bard's guild bonus actually gives you additional mana on attack. I think it gives you 2 for every attack. His guild augment does. So it'll also allow everyone to cast more. This will proc Revel a bit more. But this is kind of how I run Cannoneer Revel Trainer. It actually top 4s really easily. It's going to be kind of contested, but it's very simple to play. I do think they're going to change how Revel works a little bit, maybe weaken it a little bit, but I do think it's just a pretty solid comp. Now, this next comp is actually one of my personal favorites. I really love playing it. It's got one of my 2 favorite champions in the set in it, and this is a guild, not Talon, a guild Twitch comp. This is a guild Twitch comp. I love Twitch so much. I think he's really interesting, kind of because he's a really good unit you can throw in anywhere. You only need 1 guild, and so he gives 10 attack speed to your entire comp if you throw him in. As well as I think people are kind of sleeping on him right now. I've only seen one other person really run a Twitch build, and I think people just undervalue Swift Shot in general. Swift Shot is very good. It's like snipers, but instead of them gaining additional attack damage for every hex between them and a unit, they gain additional attack speed. So Swift Shot, even at 2 Swift Shot, it's 12% attack speed per hex. So say a unit's right here, this is 1, 2, 3 hexes away, that's 36% additional attack speed for free on 2 different units that both get to attack the same unit just insanely faster. And the cool thing about attack speed versus attack damage is attack speed is compounding on itself, whereas attack damage doesn't. So the additional speed you get from Swift Shot affects like a Rage Blade, and will make the Rage Blade infinitely better, because now the Rage Blade gets to scale multiplicatively or multiplied off of this Swift Shot. I love Twitch Rage Blade, and then probably Runan's and QSS, because QSS is good on most carries, and especially since you're going to reroll a Twitch, you're going to kind of be lower level than most of the rest of the lobby for a little while, and so you kind of don't want to get stuck when they get all of their stun units, like their CC units. So my stage 4 board goes with Sejuani and Twitch, just because that gives you 2 guild, as well as I like Cavalier frontline with Lilia. I think these are just two good tank units. You're not going to put any items on them because the items are going to go on Nunu when we get the chance, as well as I would not re-roll these. I wouldn't go for a 3-star. 2-star's fine, like that's actually really important, but 3-star on them is a bait. Even Lilia, who's another 2 cost, even though you're going to be re-rolling Twitch. Ezreal, he's just an easy swift shot to get. You can run Ashe as well, perfectly fine. It doesn't matter which way you go. It changes literally nothing. In fact, I actually like Ashe because it gives me the option to kind of switch between this and then the next build we're going to go over. But Ezreal's kind of easier to get, just because everybody sleeps on Ezreal as well. Ezreal's a really good swift shot. I also like kind of making sure that they are both able to attack the same unit, just that they're constantly killing someone, because they gain attack speed based off of how far the unit is. If they both kill the closest unit really quickly, then they instantly gain 12% additional attack speed because they're going to attack a unit that's slightly farther. So I really like positioning them in a way that's kind of keeps them attacking the same unit, as well as positioning our front line in a direction so that no one's going to attack these guys, but they also are staying as far away from them as possible. So yeah, that's kind of why I like position them almost in this way. Sometimes you can kind of do this if it's a little funky, but I try and position them on the opposite side of the board. It can be this way as well, but that's kind of the logic behind positioning. And this is our stage 4 board. Again, no real tank items on these guys. They get massive buffs on their defenses already, so it's not necessary to put it on Sejuani and Lilia, especially because we're going to pretty quickly go to stage 6, and this is kind of where we're going to stabilize with stage 6. Actually, Nunu goes here. So stage 6, we just get in another guild unit and another Cavalier, which is going to increase their armor duplication. Yeah, from 40 armor and 40 magic resist to 60 armor and 60 magic resist with Nunu and Willowump. And then Rise is just going to become a 3rd guild unit. The more guild units you have in, the stronger guild units get off of their own buffs. Ideally, I mean, if you land a 4-cost Talon, then you can throw Talon in instead of Rise. Rise is just going to be a little bit more dependable at this stage, at stage 6. Or at level 6. So that's going to give us additional attack speed on our Twitch. We are going to put Rise in this little pocket here. If someone comes here and attacks Nunu, here they actually might turn around and attack Rise instead, and then you're going to lose your swift shots, as well as they slow down hella because you're going to lose 2 hexes worth of the bonus. So we kind of put Rise in this pocket here, as well as I switched to Varus. I think Varus is a really good swift shot. Because he has his ability naturally does stun, and because you're going to have him attacking really quickly because he's a swift shot, and then you have the Twitch multiplicative bonus, he's going to use that ability constantly, and you're going to have to worry less about people coming down and attacking because Varus is just going to stun him anyways, and then you just kill him real quick. As well as you're going to start stacking any tank items on Nunu. Nunu really likes Gunblade because he does a decent amount of damage, as well as probably Warmogs and Dragon's Claw, because his damage is entirely based off of how much health he has, as well as he already gets a bunch of armor and magic resistance from being a Cavalier, so you don't actually really need too much armor on him, so you don't need like a stone plate or a bramble. It's not super necessary. So Warmox is really good on him, Dragon Claw is really good on him for the healing, and then Gunblade as well for the healing. So this is kind of like ideal at level 6 if you're able to get, I mean, you're probably not going to have all these items, but say like you don't have the QSS yet, and say you don't have maybe the Dragon's Claw yet. This is still a really good position that you're in, and it's gonna. A lot of people undervalue swift shot units. I think this is actually really good. And you're just going to re-roll Twitch until you get him to 3-star. You can try and get away with him being 2-star if you're scared and you start falling behind. I would still hold all of my Twitch units just in case. But then we're going to go to level 8 or 9. If you are able to get a Twitch early, you go 9. If you're not, then you're just going to go level 8. Ideally, you're going to find a Talon and you're going to find Hecarim. And you're going to still position this way so that the damage spread between these 3 units is kind of evenly spread based off of the units that are attacking them, because you're not going to put items on them. And then Willowump is getting all of the brunt force of everyone on the left side of the board. You can swap sides, obviously, if you're scouting and seeing where everyone else is in the lobby. And then you're going to still run Twitch with the exact same items, except for now you've got Talon, who gives you naturally 10 AD, but then that's multiplied based off of guild, and it's doubled for guild units. So Twitch, I think at 5 guild and 3-star has like 200 attack damage, and so then he'll just constantly push out these high damage rune on procs, as well as he's really fast because he's got this QSS. Ideally, if you are in a perfect scenario, you get a guild emblem, and this is going to take you up to 6 guild if you have Bard and you're level 9, but if you're not level 9, you probably want Bard over Rise, but say you're not able to get Bard, you're kind of in this position, and you get a guild emblem. Ideally, because guild emblem actually gives you Omnivamp, I would swap out my Varus for Xayah. This might be a little hard just because Xayah is pretty contested, but Xayah with a Last Whisper, this is a great comp here because you've just got one guy who's constantly pumping out damage, one girl who's constantly reducing their magic resistance, as well as now they both have healing on them, so they're not too scared of dying, and that's kind of the reason we had Varus in the first place, is because he's really good at stopping units. So the Omnivamp's really good, and Xayah does really well with the attack damage that she'll get from Talon, but it does help when it's doubled because of the emblem. Otherwise, she's not really as good as Varus, I don't think. If you do get, say, like a Cavalier spat, Talon. It goes really good on Talon because Talon flies into the back line. He pretty much kills pretty well whoever he attacks anyways. So he's constantly going to be doing this and giving himself a bunch of MR and armor as well. So Talon is a really good 5 Cavalier unit, as well as keeping all your guild in check. So, but you do really want to go 9 if you can here. Just depends on how quickly you get your Twitch 3. And this is my guild Twitch build. It's probably a little bit less reliable than the other 2 comps I'm going to show you, but I really do like this. I think it's a lot of fun, especially just watching Nunu just chomp on everyone while Twitch shoots at them. I think it's really cool, and I made it myself. I'm really proud of this one. The Cannoneer is kind of everyone just figured it out by themselves, but I came up with this one, as well as I came up with our last comp of the day, and that is going to be a 6 Tempest Shin build, which I think is so much fun. And that is going to be an Shin 6 Tempest build, which I absolutely love. I think Shin's one of the most OP dragons in the game. I think he's super strong, as well as it has Lee Sin, who I think is a really great mid-game, early-game unit. I think Ornn's one of the best tanks in the game, and it kind of fits another couple of units in that I really enjoy. So our stage 1, I've got 5 units here, but you're either going to find Sejuani or Set first, and that's kind of going to change how you play the game. We do want Taric, Karma, and Ashe, especially Karma and Ashe. Any other Jade unit is going to work fine because we want the statue, but Karma and Ashe are going to give us 2 Dragonmancer, so we're either going to do Set, or if we get an early Lee Sin, that's fine. Ideal items on our Dragonmancer is going to be Titans and then Bloodthirster. I think these are the best 2 items that you can fit on Lee Sin, as well as I don't think Lee Sin needs a 3rd item. He kind of falls off by the time that he really even is going to make a 3rd item useful. So you get these 2 items for your Lee Sin, and then you just go straight full paying attention to tank items, trying to get really strong items for Ornn later on. Sejuani is a really good tank. This is a great stage 5 board, but stage 4, it's probably actually going to end up looking like this. Jade statue is going to get healing to our Set. Just do not do what I do, which is forget to make Set the Dragonmancer. And especially if you swap Set for Lee Sin, you still have to make him the Dragonmancer again. Don't forget. I forget every time. It gives them 500 health as well as 30 ability power, so it instantly makes them so much better than they already are. I think at a stage level 1 unit, it doubles their health. They're basically twice as strong. So Set's really good, but also if you get like an early Lee Sin, this is fine, and you'll just run it like this, and then you'll go then you go level 5 and probably do this. And then you'll start getting your tank items to go in for Ornn. At level 6, there's no reroll going on here. You probably should hold an Ezreal from earlier on in the game. It helps give you Swift Shot with Ashe as well. Still Lee Sin with Titans and Bloodthirster. You're going to want to 2-star pretty much everyone here on the board, but after this, you're kind of going to hit 50 gold, and then you just level. You just level and kind of fit in units. So this is your stage 6, but then like when you go 7, you can throw in Kiana if you really want to. You can throw in another really good tank unit. One I really like, and I've been using a lot more recently, is Shin, because he just gives dodge to your tanks, because now Sejuani with all this healing is going to, you know, recoup a little bit while she's not getting attacked, and so it's just going to give you more value out of the tank items you've already invested in. So Shen's a really good unit to throw in at level 7 if you can get it, as well as Sejuani. I didn't explain to Sejuani, we don't have any defensive traits right now, but Sejuani gives 100 health to everyone net because of her guild stat, which is just instantly basically Bruiser, like Bruiser 2. Like, it's just instantly good, and you don't have to worry about a synergy. She stuns the front line. This is just really good, as well as Lee Sin's gonna walk around Taric here and kick a unit across and just deal damage to the entire front line. And then hopefully by then the Jade statue is getting ready to explode, so it does a whole bunch of magic damage to the front line. I really love this kind of combo that happens when Lee Sin walks around and does his ultimate kicking, especially because he's going to get a couple of procs off of his Titan's Resolve, giving him a little bit more ability power, and he's got ability power from the Dragon Mancer, so he's going to do a little bit more damage. But this is kind of going to be your stage 6 and 7, or your level 6 and 7. I keep saying stage. Level 8 and 9 is a huge mix-up. Hopefully you're able to get an item remover from the Treasure Dragon. If you weren't, it's not a super big deal. You can find a second Lee Sin really easily. Lee Sin's not going to be our carry throughout the entire game, though I wish he was strong enough to. We're going to move all of our tank items over to Ornn. We're going to get rid of our Jade units. But to keep Dragon Mancer, we're going to get Yasuo, Ashe, and Lee Sin. Yasuo is going to become our Dragon Mancer. As well as we're just going to put any AD items that we can get on Ao Shen. This is level 8. It's going to be a lot easier to find Ao Shen and Yasuo at level 9. And if you go level 9, you can throw in our good old friend Bard, who again gives us additional mana gen on attack, which is good for Ao Shen considering he has 160 mana cost. So we get Shojin. Shiv, you don't have to put on Ao Shen if you have a better item for him, but you can also put it on Yasuo even. You can put it on Ezreal. It's really good because it gives a lot of magic resist. But this is going to be really good because Tempest is going to do 25% of their health in true damage, and then everyone gains 80% attack speed, which is going to allow Ao Shen is probably going to cast twice in this ability, which is why I really like Archangels. His first attack is not going to do super a lot of damage. I mean, it's hella good, but his second cast is going to pop off. And then Bard is just a really good stun unit, so is Ornn. You can really throw in any other bruiser here instead of Alawi. I like Alawi. You can even keep Shen if you want for that dodge chance for your Ornn. This is really good too, again, getting value out of your items. Or you can even go Sylas. Sylas is pretty okay. I prefer Alawi over Sylas just because her ability gives her additional armor, so she lasts a little bit longer, as well as she shreds armor and magic resist off of people around her because she steals 20% of their armor and magic resist. So I do like Alawi, as well as Lee Sin, again, is going to kind of walk up here and attack the unit that's right here on the right and then kick them across the field. And that's just going to do a bunch of damage to the front line, and then Ao Shen's going to just try and kill them all when he casts his ability, which I just think is a really good combo. And then Yasuo, being the Dragon Mancer, is going to do so much damage. He doesn't have any traits with really any of these people other than Dragon Mancer, but he's such a good splash unit in this comp, and so is Bard. I love this comp so much, and I don't think I've bought for it a single time that I've played it. And the only people that really beat me are people who have better Ao Shens because they got it faster by rolling at 8. So even one Ao Shen at level 9 is pretty consistent and will get you to top 2 normally. I think I've gotten like 3rd, but I've never even gotten below that with this kind of an Ao Shen build. I think it's so powerful right now, and there's nothing actually in the comp that's super broken that I think is going to get nerfed and taken so that this build doesn't really work. I think Ao Shen's really powerful, but I think he's designed in the way he's supposed to be, as well as if you get this MR shred, then he's just going to stay really powerful, and he casts his like 20 lightning damage, as well as the Tempest does a whole bunch of true damage. Now, one thing I do want to point out is Tempest where the fuck is it? Tempest Emblem. I've been baited by this so many times. I don't know if you do Tempest Emblem. I think Bard is more valuable than 8 Tempest. Now, let's say you go Kiana in here. You're going to get a lot more Tempest damage because it's going to do 40% true damage. I think the reason I keep on getting baited with this actually is because I keep on thinking I have to take out Dragon Mancer. I keep forgetting Bard's part of the comp. This could be okay, actually. I don't think it's too big of a deal. I did lose with this, but that was because I was playing against an Ao Shen 2, and I couldn't find my Ao Shen 2. I had Ao Shen 1, unfortunately. If I had my Ao Shen 2, I would have won first place. It's all right. I would just stick to the Bard comp. I would stick to this. I think this is stronger. I think you almost weaken yourself by having 8 Tempest, because Bard's just a really good CC unit, and you don't want your front line to die. Ao Shen, by the way, also a really great user of QSS. Just so that he doesn't get stunned at all, and especially if you're playing against another Tempest, because again, Ao Shen's the only real thing that counters this, I think. If you're playing against another Tempest, the Tempest stuns your units, actually. So you don't want your Tempest getting stunned, and then he casts a little bit less. It feels really bad to get your Ao Shen killed when you have such a really great build. But yeah, these are 3 of the comps I've been running and I've been having a lot of fun with. Maybe try them out. Let me know what you think. I've been streaming these live, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and come into our streams. I think they're a lot of fun, and I really like hanging out with everybody. I've actually been doing play with viewer streams, so if you want to maybe play some games with me, come by a stream sometime, and I'd love to hang out with you and try some different builds. Thank you for leaving a like on the video. I really appreciate it, and I've been a Murder Muffin. You guys have been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.